What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on the Get Up, they're going to be talking about how Steph Curry put up 47 points with a loss to the Toronto Raptors. So let's see what they have to say about that.
One thing that was wonderful for the Warriors last night, despite the loss, was Steph Curry. My goodness, playing without KD and Klay Thompson. Of course, they're out of this game. First quarter winding down, under 20 seconds.
Carry.
The screen.
L.R. Carry. Home could call a carry.
All right, but what about this
It's
shot?
NBA 2K in real life. That's what it is.
He kept that dribble alive, okay? Warriors within 4. Second quarter, Warriors down 55-44. Curry brings the ball up.
Look at
behind the back twice.
I'm going to tell you, from having guarded that, it's not fun. That's just not a fun place to be. When a guy can shoot from 30 and have that type of soft touch and still knock it down.
Nice friendly bounce, too. Under a minute to go, 93-77.
Get out of the screen,
hit the three there. He had 47 points in this one. Warriors lose 123-109, but here's Steve Kerr on Curry.
Steph was incredible. The stuff he does is he does things that, honestly, I don't think anybody has ever done before. The way he plays the game, the way he shoots it, and the combination of his ball handling and shooting skills, it's incredible to watch. He was amazing.
Did you have?
So Steve Kerr is correct. So what Stephen Curry did last night was absolutely amazing. He put up, 47, 8, and 7? You talk about, all these people want to talk about, oh, well, Steph Curry, he doesn't show up when he's needed, and he's not clutch, and this, that, and this, that. Well, he definitely showed up last night, putting up that 47 points. He definitely showed up last night. And also, he kind of kept him in the game, because I think at one point he got within 4 points of time, if not taking the lead against the Toronto Raptors. And he's pretty much the only one on the squad that's balling. So what that also shows is that all he needs is one other player to help him get over the deficit of what they lost last night by. And they could tie the series, if not take it over. One other person. So if Klay comes back, Kevin Durant comes back, even if they're not at 100%, just the presence of them being there, they'll be able to clean up and take care of whatever deficits that they may get down by with the Toronto Raptors. So they're very close, very, very close. So let's keep going.
Have a little extra sense of urgency in terms of scoring, as opposed to times when maybe you would distribute if you had all of your pieces on the floor?
For sure. Yeah.
His smile says it all. None of Steph's teammates had any luck creating their own shot in Game 3. He scored 25 points on 10 of 17 shooting off the dribble. His teammates combined for 5 points on 8 such attempts. Curry carried the Warriors last night. His back must be hurting after all.
Again, that just shows that Steph Curry can show up when it's needed, and he can put up those type of points. So for anybody to say that he doesn't show up and he doesn't do this or that, he showed you guys right there that he can put up those 47 points and do what he needs to do while being the only player on his team. I know they lost, but to say that he doesn't show up or he's good to choke, nah, he definitely showed up and did pretty much everything he could do. He did everything he could pretty much do. All he needs is that one other piece to help get him over that hump. So let's keep going.
But Jay, you want to talk about LeBron?
Yeah, because my thing is, last night I'm watching everybody after the game say, well, what else can Stephen do? He's dropping close to 50 points and all that stuff. I just think it's time that we put some respect on LeBron James' name. Like when they won it, when Golden State won it in 2014, 2015, LeBron James was playing without Kevin Love, without Kyrie Irving. He had guys like Matthew Dellavedova that were playing 41. I love Delly. Iman Shumpert, Tristan Thompson, Timothy Mozgov, right? And he won 2 games by himself. So when we sit up here and we praise Stephen Curry for somewhat keeping this team in the ball game, it just brings me back to that time when I'm like, thank you. Like now Steph knows how LeBron felt during that whole run where LeBron had the whole weight of the world on his shoulders and actually got them to 2 wins when I didn't see Steph Curry do that last night.
Well, and
You know, Jason Williams, to make those type of comparisons between LeBron James and Steph Curry is kind of stupid, because who do you think has a better chance of being more dominant and taking care of business for the team? So LeBron James is what, 6'8", 6'9", 250, 260 versus Steph Curry is what, 6'3", 180, 190, soaking wet? Who do you think has a better chance of taking over and leading their team? I mean, LeBron James is the locomotive when he gets in that paint, and he's pretty much hard to stop, or if unstoppable. And he's probably going to get the foul. So he can be more dominant that way, as far as Steph Curry using a higher skill set and dropping threes left and right while being double teamed and triple teamed. I mean, who do you think is going to have a better opportunity to be more dominant? And as far as Why are we talking about what happened 4 years ago? That happened 4 years ago when LeBron James won the finals. It's like, what have you done lately? So after he won that finals, that next year they got beat by Golden State again. What was it? 4-1? And then the year after that, which would have been last year, they got swept 4-0. So why are we talking about what happened 4 years ago when LeBron James beat the Golden State Warriors? Why are we talking about that? It just doesn't make sense. So let's keep going.
The funny thing about it is it's used against LeBron when you're talking about his greatness. And it's like, there's a reason why Kevin Durant went to the Warriors, because it takes a great amount of talent, not only to get there, but to win the championship. And so, look, I don't want to take anything away from Steph's night because Steph was dominant. But if you were to tell me that Steph was going to have 47 points with no Klay, no Looney, no KD, and a couple other hobbled players, and they were going to lose by 15, that sounds about right.
Right.
There's nothing else
you
that man can do.
You got to do more.
So you're correct. That is a big night, and there's nothing more Steph could have really done by throwing up those 47 points. But I'm not really that surprised. Because Steph Curry's a baller, and I bet you he could probably put up 47 points more regularly than people think. Only reason why he had to do it tonight is because he had no backup. He had no Klay Thompson. He has no Kevin Durant. So he has to take the brunt of the load. He has to take 1,000 shots. So, of course, Steph Curry is going to have high numbers, which we know he can already do, but generally he doesn't have to because Kevin Durant will get some of those shots. Klay Thompson will get some of those shots. With Steph Curry being the only baller on his team right now, or the main shooter, the best shooter on his team, of course he's going to have to take that many shots, and his numbers are going to rise because there's no Klay and there's no Kevin Durant. But like I said, he kept it very close. He kept it to within 4 points a couple times. So just wait till Klay gets back or Kevin Durant gets back. Even if they're not 100%, just their presence being there, and if they're having them just play an average game, that should be enough to get them over the hump to take care of the deficit of what they've lost by. So let's keep going.
You need more than that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he does. He would have had to score 70 points last night in order for his team to have a chance to win that game, and that's just unrealistic.
Are we concerned at all about the workload that Curry has had in this series already, and that you're
No, I mean, because you bring Klay back. Even if you bring Klay back and you bring Kevin Durant back and say they're not all the way healthy, but then that allows Steph to cook even more.
Yeah.
Because you can't leave those two dudes as two shooters. You're not going to be able to help off all those guys. And then that allows other ball movement to take place with Draymond and everybody else. Repco, those slips to the basket. Kevon Looney could be better. Quinn Cook can knock down shots. You have more weapons on the floor.
Yeah, and one of the advantages one of the things that the Golden State Warriors do as well as anybody in this league is they use Steph and they move him around on defense, right? So he's not having to guard the most dominant guys at a point guard spot, right? He gets guys at times. So when I talk about his usage rate, a lot of it's being used on the offensive end, right? He's not having to chase around a Kyle Lowry. He wasn't out there on the James Harden. He wasn't really dominated by Chris Paul, right? Like, that's not what he does. A lot of his usage is offense. So if everyone comes back, he's not going to be crazy fatigued because most of the stuff he's doing is on the offensive end.
Which even speaks more to the greatness of LeBron James, who led that series in points, rebounds.
I mean, you got to be kidding me, Jesse Williams. Are you talking about, again, what happened 4 years ago? 4 years ago when LeBron James won the finals? What happened the last 2 years after that? What happened to the last years like that? Not only has his last two finals, he got beat up progressively worse with each finals. He goes over to the West, and he can't even make the playoffs. So for you guys to hype up LeBron James and everything that he did, he had a cakewalk to get there. Just off gate. He had a cakewalk to eat an easy walk through the Eastern Conference. And then once it gets to the finals, he gets beat up these past two finals. So why are you talking about what happened with him 4 years ago? It just doesn't make sense. And what has Steph had to go through to get to the Western or to the finals? So it just doesn't make sense that you want to keep on talking about LeBron James, who didn't even make the playoffs, who the past 2 years in the finals, or 3 years, he's got beat up. But you want to talk about the time that he won 4 years ago? I mean, that's a high school career. That's a college career 4 years ago. So let's keep going.
And assist. And, oh, by the way, was guarding Steph, was guarding Klay.
Yeah.
Like, think about the responsibility.